Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the what if. Revenge. The Hokage's office was full of 12 shinobi and the former Hokage. They were the remains of Team 7, Kiba, Ino, the former Heims and their men. You shinobi have been summoned to pay for past crimes. Tsunade spoke. What crimes? Ino asked. Team 7. You two have attempted to sabotage a fellow shinobi. No names were needed. HN. He's a dobi. He's a baka. You say something. Asuma Sarutobi. Countless of sexual harassment. Every female and his father glared at him. Your record is second only to Jiraiya's. Well, he had nothing to say. Kiba Inuzuka. Destroying property during your clan's manhunt for Naruto. He kept us up all night. Kiba shouted. Ino Yamanaka. Interfering with a match during the Chunin exams. But he got me in trouble with daddy. She whined. Iruka Yumino. Several counts of coming to work drunk. Everyone had a shocked look on their face. Iruka. Enko asked. This is my innocent Iruka. Don't you all look at me like that. He spoke. Some of the kids idolized Naruto and now hate me. He explained. I'm just under a lot of stress. Hell, Naruto is training some of them. Hayate Gecko. Breaking the third's law during the Chunin exams. I haven't cough excuse. He quickly answered. Yes. Tsunade spoke sarcastically. The demon made you do it. We heard it all before. What about us, Hokage-sama? Yugao asked. What are our crimes? You four have large records of assault on men. Tsunade spoke. They were perverts. They countered as one. I know and I approve your actions. Tsunade said, shocking them. You just made one mistake. Which is, you four got caught. Hiruzen answered. Castrated men tend to hold a grudge. What are our punishments? Ino asked. Pay a fine for everyone you assaulted, or, since these crimes coexist with the same person, it's simple. Tsunade had an oddly familiar smirk. You all will have to get Naruto to accept your apology. So we're paying a fine. Hayate spoke. No, they'll pay a fine. Sarutobi corrected. You'd be executed. Hokage-sama, this is completely unfair. Kurenai shouted. You are abusing your power. What do you mean? Tsunade asked calmly. You're setting it up so Naruto can have payback. Hana stated. There's no way he'd accept our apology. I am just helping a loyal shinobi of the Leaf gain more power. Tsunade corrected angrily. Something that you should have done, Shido, as she glared at Kakashi. It just happens that there are certain people in need of punishment for past crimes. There is a way to get the apology. Tsunade spoke after she calmed herself. It was an idea by Naruto. They began to pale. What would we have to do? Ino asked. Sign this. She produced a scroll. It says that for 1 hour, Naruto can have his revenge in any way. They paled even further. As long as he doesn't kill or cripple you, everything is free game. She continued. You will be able to try and defend yourself, but so do we pay to you directly or? Kurenai asked, cutting her off. Kurenai. Kakashi called cutting her off as well. You're passing up a free ticket. Cyclops. He will do things that make our assaults on perverts look pretty. Enko stated. We've actually updated some of our interrogation methods using his ideas. Even Ibiki found those cruel. Hiruzen mumbled to himself. Some of us don't have a choice. Hayate stated. He signed. I need my smoke money. Asuma stated. He signed. If I can drink, then I can't teach. Iruka stated. He signed. I don't fear the dobi. Sasuke stated. I can take whatever he's got. He signed. If Sasuke-kun goes, then so do I. Sakura shouted. She signed. I won't let forehead one-up me. Ino stated. She signed. I can't let 2 girls be tougher than me. Kiba stated. He signed. I could teach Naruto a thing or two. Kakashi stated. He signed. I'm paying the fine. The mistresses spoke as one. Since you four knew Naruto better than the ones who signed, Hiruzen spoke. Any advice for them? Yes. First we recommend pissing yourselves. Hana started. Then praying to whoever you believe in. Kurenai continued. Then kissing your asses goodbye. Enko finished. I'm not afraid of the dobi, Sasuke stated. None of us are. Asuma spoke. Tsunade leaned forward with Hiruzen as one. They spoke. You should be. They whispered, and you will. Naruto had never felt this good. Not when he became a shinobi. Not when he gained his first batch of hymns. Not when he gained his power. There was only one thing that ever rivaled the happiness he was feeling. It was pain, the pain of betrayal and heartbreak. The one he felt that made him want to end his life. He was currently making his way toward his destination, the Shinobi Academy. Now he only had to wait. News of the deal had spread all across the village. Everyone was present as the shinobi made their way to the destination, the academy. Both shinobi and civilian, young and old. The mistresses were the only ones not to sign. They knew what Naruto could do, they trained him after all. There go some foolish souls, one shouted. Dead men walking, Zabuza stated. That is what they have been hearing since they left the Hokage's office. They have had enough. Enough. Hiba shouted. We are Konoha's elites. Hayate shouted. There is no way the Dobi can defeat any of us. Sasuke shouted. They arrived to the academy, the Konohamaru Corps, stood in front of the entrance. Abandon all hope. They spoke eerily low and as one, ye who enter here. That's not reassuring. Ino whimpered. Don't tell me you're scared. No way, Ino shouted. You should be. The Corps spoke again, and you will. They entered the academy. Are they in? Jiraiya asked. Yes, Tsunade answered. So you're sure you can get him to drop the genjutsu for me if I do this for you? He asked. He had found out about it when he realized no one else could see it. Yes, now do it you pervert. Tsunade ordered. Perverted style. Widespread peeping. Now everyone in the village would be able to see what was happening in the academy. Revenge to Funny. They stood in an empty abyss of darkness. Everywhere they looked, it was endless darkness. They couldn't see the ground where they stood or their hands in front of them. They knew it was a genjutsu but stopped trying to break it minutes ago. I'm glad you all could make it. Naruto's disembodied voice spoke. When this is over, you will all be crying like a bitch. Do you worse? Sasuke shouted. An elite like me can take it. Quote. 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 You know what, Sasuke? Naruto spoke again. You can go first. Everyone was pulled further into the darkness for their own punishment. Sasuke. Sasuke-kun. Sakura shouted. Where are you? Did the Dobi leave me with Sakura? That would be punishment. Sasuke-kun. Ino. Hello little brother. An empty voice spoke from behind. You're still too weak. Sasuke swirled around on the spot. He'd know that voice anywhere. Itachi. He shouted, what is he doing here? There in the darkness was a visible Itachi in his cloak. His Sharingan was glaring visibly at the younger of the brother. Their eyes met as Itachi's took another form Sasuke had never seen. Izanami. Sasuke never knew what hit him. All he felt was his older brother's two-finger tap on his forehead. Just like in the old days, before the slaughter. The younger of the Uchiha drew a kunai and took a swipe at his brother. Itachi simply leaned away from the blade. He brought his fist down on the younger Uchiha's head. The force behind it knocked Sasuke straight into the ground. He didn't have enough time to stand. Amaterasu. He couldn't see it, but he felt the black flames latched onto him. No, it can't end like this. I need to avenge the clan. They began at his feet where they began to crawl up. Inch by inch the flames began to consume him. Turning him into ash. Turning him into nothing. The last thing he saw was Itachi walking toward him. The elder Uchiha raised a hand and tapped Sasuke's forehead. The flames were gone. The pain was gone. There in front of him stood Itachi. He spoke. You're still too weak. Then feel the power given to me. Sasuke shouted. And then we'll see who's weak. The curse mark on his neck began to grow. It covered his entire body in black flame like tattoos. Chidori. The lighting he held in his hand blazed with every ounce of his hate. Sasuke charged his elder brother with every ounce of chakra he could muster. Crow Clone Jutsu. As Sasuke's hand came into range it happened. Itachi's body broke away into a flock of crows letting Sasuke and the attack pass though. He reformed behind his younger brother as if nothing had happened. He felt the two-finger tap on his forehead again. There Itachi stood. Sasuke's curse mark had receded as if he had never activated it. Even his chakra supply felt as if he hadn't used any in the slightest. You're still too weak. They locked eyes. Tsukuyomi. Sasuke felt everything change. The darkness faded and became a red sky. In the sky was a black moon and clouds. Sasuke was strapped to a cross, unable to move. For the next 3 days you will. He stopped and began to change into Naruto. Dobi. Sasuke shouted. For the next 3 days you, he began to cackle, will be at the mercy of your fangirls. No. Like a bitch. The audience were in a state of silence. One moment Sasuke was locked in combat with his brother and the next, being ravaged by fangirls. Only Naruto. Hiruzen mumbled. Sakura. So what kind of punishment would the baka have for me? Sakura asked herself. Let's find out. Naruto stated behind her. After giving a shriek in fear she began screaming. You baka, you nearly gave me a heart attack. There's Sasuke. Naruto calmly stated. Where? Sakura asked with heart in her eyes. They broke at the sight before her. Her precious Sasuke-kun was being ravaged. Not by just anyone, it was Ino Pig. While Sasuke saw an army of every fangirl he ever had to deal with, Sakura saw different. She saw said Uchiha being ravaged by an army of Inos. Not only were they so numerous, Sasuke seemed to like it. No, she wailed. This is your punishment. Naruto stated. For the remainder of the genjutsu you will see this and not be able to interfere. Sakura ran to the horde, determined to save her Sasuke-kun. The problem was that she wasn't getting closer. She continued on but the army and Sasuke seemed to be forever out of reach. Like a bitch. Hiba, come on out Dobi. Hiba called. Show me what you got, I can take it. Hiba, a rough female voice called. What are you doing? Mom. Hiba asked shocked. What are you doing here? Are you saying that I can't go where I please? Sum asked. That I need your permission to be here. No mommy. Hiba answered. I heard you joined so you wouldn't be beaten by women. She stated angrily. Is that true? No mommy. Hiba whimpered. Liar. She shouted. You need to be punished. What are you going to do to me? Hiba asked. You will listen to Naruto give me pups. She answered with a psychotic grin. Don't you mean grand pups? Hiba asked. I know what I said. She answered. Come here Naruto. No. Like a bitch. Kakashi. Kakashi had been walking down an empty path for a while. He didn't know where he was going but he knew 2 things. He was not on the road to life. And 2. He would be on time. Not if I have anything to say about it. The Cyclops-like Junin thought. He prided himself on being late. He was Kakashi Hatake, the man who would be late to his own funeral. Little did he know he didn't. This way Kakashi. Rin. Sensei. He could see them in the distance. You've finally come. They spoke. We're glad. Why you are? He asked as a tear escaped his lone eye. Yes, it's very. They paused as they thought of the right words. Youthful. Kakashi stopped in his tracks as his blood ran cold. Now that he was up close he could see them, and their outfits. Green spandex. And something else, something he couldn't put his finger on. Where are all of the women? He asked himself. He was overheard by Minato and Obito. Women. Obito repeated in confusion. What are those? I think he means what Rin used to be. Minato stated. Oh, there are no more of them. Obito stated. What? Kakashi asked in dread. Why? We got rid of them. His sensei answered in cheer. They were distracting us from our youthful training. What about Ika Ika? Kakashi asked. We have those. His sensei answered, filling Kakashi with hope. Everyone is a fan, even us. The Junin looked around and sure enough, it was true. Everyone not training was engrossed in a copy of the book. Kakashi felt his heart soar. There was still hope. Here's the latest issue. Obito offered. Kakashi snatched the book from the Uchiha with desperation. It was an issue he hadn't read. He looked at the book as if it were a gift from the heavens. He tore his headband off and began reading with his Sharingan. Wait a minute, this is yaoi, he screamed in horror. The words were forever burned into his memory. You don't like it? Obito asked. Where's the women? Kakashi demanded. Where's the smut? He continued. Where's a place not converted to youth? Well, there is no such place. They answered. They saw him began to convulse on the ground. Are you okay? There is nothing about this whole scenario that doesn't make me so disgusted that I want to violently vomit out my own internal organs. He answered with an unnatural calmness. I despise you both so intensely that I can't tell if my vision is blurry from the Sharingan, or my unforgiving rage. He continued, if no women smut is found, I will gut you with an honest-to-God smile on my face and proceed to paint the home I build with your bodies with your very blood. That's Unyathif. Ah! Kakashi shouted in rage as he began forming hand signs. Chidori, wait! Minato shouted in desperation to stop his student, there is some. This calmed Kakashi down enough to listen. A copy of Ika Ika involving women. Where? He needed to know. Well, tell me, now. There is a place, he whispered, guarded by you. By warriors, he corrected. It's said to contain the only copy of what you're searching for. He gave a toothy grin with a sparkle, we will take you there. Later. So this is the place? Kakashi asked as he eyes the dojo. It's not impressive. It's a place where youth doesn't exist. Obito spoke. We'll be back in a while. Minato stated. Good luck. Kakashi was now looking at the dojo in a new light. A place untouched by youth, he thought I'm home. The Junin made his way forward. Stop. A voice spoke. The ground around the dojo began to tremble fiercely. A large crater-like crack began to form in front of the Junin. Out rose 3 man-like sized turtles. We are the youthful turtles, one spoke, guardian of this unyouthful place. Before you can enter here, you must pass a test, another spoke. What kind of test? Kakashi asked. If you say youthful all. No, the voice assured, it's an extremely youthful test. You must join us. Kakashi said nothing after the turtle's comment. He just looked at them with empty eyes. A little later, Kakashi was running through the woods. He had decided to ignore the test and leave. No smutty book was worth it. The turtles were closing in on him. Kakashi, why are you running? A turtle called. Just accept your fate. Never. The Junin shouted. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna run? Where you gonna hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one out there. Like you. Left. Like a bitch. Ino. Ino had been walking down the dark tunnel looking for Sasuke. She had the idea that he would protect her from anything Naruto would throw. And then we'll get married. She thought to herself. Is it getting warm? All this heat is going to make my hair go frizzy, she whined. Out of nowhere a mirror showed up. Ino didn't question it, she just started to admire herself in the mirror. I look good, she said to herself. Yes you do, someone spoke, really good. Ino looked around but couldn't find the voice. Who's there? Ino asked. Just an admirer. The voice answered. What do you want? Ino asked. My dad's the Yamanaka clan head and I'm a kunoichi. I want to be in your skin. Well who wouldn't? Ino asked. But beauty like this can't be copied. I know. The voice agreed. That's why I'm taking yours. What do you mean by that? Ino asked frightened. Her answer was just cruel laughter. Ino felt cold steel pierce her flesh and go across her skin. The pain was unimaginable for the young kunoichi. It tore away her smooth skin, leaving her with only the muscles and innards beneath. Give me back my skin. Ino demanded through the agony. No, you can have this one. She felt something cover her exposed flesh. The pain of having anything come in contact with her was excruciating. It wasn't over. Sewing needles began to work on her. Soon the skin was a part of her flesh. Once finished, she looked into the mirror. I'm a pig, she shouted in outrage. You really are Ino pig now. The voice mocked, and I have some hungry friends. Footsteps began to echo in the darkness, coming closer and closer. Ino couldn't tell where it was coming from, only cower. Soon she was surrounded by a mass of people. Naruto stood in front of them all. Well would you look at this, pork for dinner. Wait, I'm not a pig, Ino desperately shouted, I'm a girl trapped in a pig's skin. That's what they all say. Naruto spoke. Besides, I gave Tun up. He said with regret, a second pig will not escape me. No oink. Like a swine. Uruka. The teacher was in a large and complete dark room. He had nowhere to go, so he did the only thing he could. He waited. Uruka-kun, a familiar voice called, Uruka-kun. Anko. Uruka asked to no one. Hi. She spoke behind him, nearly giving the Chunin a heart attack. After screaming like a child he straightened himself. Anko, what are you doing here? Uruka asked. Did you sign the contract? Nope. Then why are you here? He asked. Are you here to help me? Nope. Then why are you looking at me like that? Uruka asked nervously. Anko didn't answer, she just started moving forward. Uruka began moving backwards. You're not Anko, are you? Spread M. She ordered. Okay, maybe you are. Uruka tried. Nope. Every nerve in his body was telling him to run. Too bad for him, his back was against the wall. Can't we talk about this? He pleaded. Nope. She began weaving hand signs, ones that he feared. Trouser snake jutsu. She grabbed Uruka by the collar and threw him to the ground. She began to arrange him as if he were a toy. Top down, bottom up. She spoke into his ear. Wait, Anko, please. He needed an escape. Ain't no breaks, Uruka. She stated. What? All aboard, she shouted. Full power to the caboose. No, like a bitch. They were all surprised when the screen in the sky went blank. All those viewing this will have to watch someone else suffer. Naruto's disembodied voice called through. This is now too graphic, so we're moving on. I just wanted to say I don't agree to rape or even enjoy fix on it. But come on. That was funny. Hayate. The sickly Junin was making his way down the shadow path, just as the others did. He had never taken his hand off of his sword since the whole thing began. What does he have planned for me? He asked himself for the 100th time. Hello, Hayate. A voice spoke from behind him. The Junin quickly spun around, blade drawn. He attacked the first thing he saw with a fast diagonal cut. The blade made contact, but didn't go more than inch in. That was impressive attack, Naruto spoke, especially with a sloppy swing. I take care of my blade, Hayate growled as he added more pressure. Not all of us can rely on special weapons. A shadow began to form behind Naruto, taking the form of a person. Yes, it is average, isn't it? Naruto and the figure stated. Average blades are easy to stop, but blades of wind can't be stopped by anyone. Hayate saw who the figure was, the Sand Junin that defeated him. Naruto grabbed his elemental sword and took a swing. He pumped it full of wind chakra. Instead of cutting through Hayate, it pushed him. The Junin flew back with force that should have killed him. Instead, it just left him in a lot of pain. I'm going to show you the one thing Kakashi tough me, Naruto spoke, even if it was indirectly. I even gave it a boost. Naruto grabbed the downed Junin's sword. Leaf Village Secret Jutsu. 10,000 years of death. Does any more need to be said? Like a bitch. Asuma. Unlike all the others, Asuma didn't go anywhere. He would wait for Naruto to come to him. So you didn't make a move, huh? Naruto spoke beside him. Why should I? Asuma asked. I know how this'll turn out. Really? Naruto asked skeptically. How? With you beaten by me, again. Asuma stated. When did you ever beat me? Naruto asked, generally confused. I won Kurenai. Quote. No comment I see, Asuma stated victoriously. How's your steak? Naruto asked. What? I'm not eat. He was eating steak, maggot-filled steak. The Junin began to empty his stomach. Stop doing that, Asuma shouted. Well, let's begin, Naruto stated as he began to light a cigarette with his sword. Are those my smokes? Asuma asked. And they're almost as good as ramen. Naruto stated. Give me ba. What do you mean almost as good? Asuma asked as if he had been struck. They are twice as good as any ramen. You shouldn't insult ramen, Naruto warned as he looked around nervously, it might become offended. I'll insult ramen as much as I want. Asuma shouted. It tastes like watered down piss-covered noodles. He started. Is there something behind me? Quote. The blonde Chunin just backed away. Asuma slowly turned around toward the creature behind him. It was a pile of ramen 8 feet high. It seemed to be shaped like a monster-like being. It seemed to be staring directly at Asuma. And now I know I said some things, Asuma spoke, but I'm sure we can put all that behind us, right? The creature said nothing, it just pointed a noodle-like arm over Asuma's shoulder. The Junin looked toward the direction and was confused. There was a giant bowl of hot boiling broth. You want me to get inside the bowl? He asked the creature, earning a nod. Why? It opened its big mouth to reveal a large black hole. In those large black holes were rows of giant teeth. Huangir. Holy shit. Naruto shouted. It can talk. How did you not know that? Asuma asked in disbelief. You made the thing. No, I didn't. Naruto replied honestly. I don't even know how it got in here. So, this thing is real? Asuma asked in fear, and it wants to eat me. Kind of ironic. Naruto stated. Huangir. It repeated. I don't want to be eaten. Asuma told the creature. The Junin drew his weapons. He would fight. He would use all of his experience to take down the creature. Every jutsu and combat skill in his arsenal would aid him. It was a short fight. Ramen won. No, I don't want to be eaten. The Junin shouted. Asuma was now being held over the bowl of hot boiling ramen broth by a string of ramen. He struggled with all his might, but it was all pointless. He belonged to the ramen now. You know what? Fine. Asuma shouted. Let the noodle monster eat me. Ramen monster. Naruto corrected. Whatever. The Junin didn't care. Just know this, I got something you'll never have. What? Naruto asked in an uncaring manner. I got the mistress of Genjutsu to say, I love you, to me. Asuma stated triumphantly. The ramen stopped the descent. It knew something was wrong, that something bad was going to happen. What? Naruto asked. That's right, Asuma spoke. All of us got the Ice Queens, your former Heims, to say, I love you, to us. He continued, did they say it to you, even once? They didn't. The ramen monster had only one thought in its head. Fuck this over and over, and it was too young to die. It dropped the Junin onto the ground, grabbed its bowl, the creature ran like the wind. The air became cold and empty between the two shinobi. It was hollow. Asuma felt like he had something he would regret. Ha 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 ha. His laugh was empty. Oh dear, you said some really magic words. Naruto stated. I guess I'll have to kill you now. But the contract said. Fuck the contract. The hollowness consumed the Junin. Revenge to Pain. Hi everyone. Naruto spoke to those in his genjutsu. I was trying to be a nice guy, trying to be lenient in your punishment. You did horrible things to us. Iruka and Hayate shouted. I said trying. He shouted. But thanks to Asuma, I won't be going easy on you anymore. Well, you wait. Easy. Ino asked. Anymore. I'm going to tear your souls apart. Hiba. The Inuzuka had spoken a big game, now he was alone. And scared. At least I still have you, Akumaru. Hiba stated, getting a bark in reply. Do you? Naruto asked. Dobi. Hiba growled. Hello, Akumaru. Naruto greeted, and goodbye. It all happened in a flash. Naruto had grabbed Akumaru. I will give you a chance to save your partner Kiba. Naruto stated. All you have to do is make a small sacrifice. What do I need to do? Hiba asked. It's said that your family values loyalty above all else, is that true? Naruto asked. An Inuzuka would gladly lay down their life for their friends and family. Hiba stated with pride. Then do so, Naruto ordered, and I'll let Akumaru live. You think that'll work? Hiba laughed. The contract said you couldn't kill or cripple us. Did it say anything about suicide? No, didn't think so. Naruto chuckled dryly. Plus, you don't have to kill yourself, you could neuter yourself. A dark thought occurred. Plus, Akumaru didn't sign, I could kill him now. Naruto raised a kunai to the dog. Wait. Hiba slowly drew a kunai with shaky hand. He unsteadily held the blade to his throat. Suddenly his hand held firm. Dobi. The young Inuzuka threw the kunai with experience accuracy. It soared toward Naruto, aiming for his heart. The accuracy was dead on. The only problem was Naruto had a shield, in the form of a dog. The blade pierced Akumaru's underbelly. The dog gave a soft whimper before going still. Naruto dropped Akumaru on the floor with a soft thud. The puppy laid there broken and cold. You fool. Was all Naruto spoke. He left the young Inuzuka to grieve over his lost comrade. The audience saw the whole thing. Tsume was very disappointed. She just didn't know in who. Naruto for using Akumaru as a meat shield and killing him. Or Kiba for risking his partner's life. The academy entrance opened and Naruto walked out. Tsume, he called. I have something for you. On his hand was Akumaru. The dog had bitten and hadn't let go. You're letting Akumaru go? Tsume asked confused. I'm not holding anything against Akumaru. Naruto stated. He was innocent in everything, only following Kiba. Thank you, pup. Tsume spoke. Now about that scene with me getting pups. Gotta go. Naruto rushed. People to torture, minds to break. Ino, as soon as I get out of here my daddy's going to kick your butt Naruto. Ino shouted for the 100th time. You always rely on others even, your clan name. Naruto chastised. You wouldn't make it a day in my shoes. She continued walking when she noticed something, a light. It was a bit away, but it was something. Ino ran after it. She even ignored the fact that she was getting sweaty. When she finally reached the light, she walked through it. It led outside. I'm free. Ino looked back at the school and saw that their tortures were being showed, just not hers. That means I'm the only one out. She realized, Sasuke will be proud of me. I better get a new dress for our date. The young Kunoichi began to walk around the shopping district looking for the best. She found it. It was a golden dress that matched her blonde hair perfectly. She just had to have it. Excuse me sir, how much is that dress? Ino asked the cashier. He took one look at her. It's not for sale, he stated. But he didn't let her finish. I said it's not for sale. He growled before calming. But I have one that is. You do? Ino asked hopefully. The man went into the back and returned with an orange dress. It wasn't too bad, but not up to Ino's taste. Well, beggars can't be choosers. How much is it? Ino asked. It's over 9,000 yen. The man answered. What? Ino ripped the dress from the man's hand and looked at the tag. The dress says 1,000 yen. Are you telling me what I can and can't price my items? Before she could answer he yelled. Get out, I don't want your kind here. Ino ran out of the shop as fast as she could. She felt as if the owner would have actually hit her if she hadn't. Well, who needs them? She had better dresses in her closet. It's that girl. You mean that one? Yep. Ino looked around toward the ones whispering. She saw their not so hidden looks of hate and disgust. There was also the looks of something Ino was almost familiar with, just never this dark. Imagine what we could do with her. You'd probably catch something. As Ino looked around she realized everyone was either glaring at her or acting like she wasn't there. It hurt, a lot. Score. She heard someone shout. There was a quick flash of pain in her head. The blow had knocked her off her legs and into a daze. She looked at the object used and couldn't believe it. It was a rock. Someone had actually thrown a rock at her. When she came back to her senses, she came back with anger. How dare they? Ino grabbed the rock and threw it directly at the one who struck her. It hit him in the direct center of his forehead, knocking him over. Did you see that? Someone asked, panicked. She attacked him. Someone get Anbu. Get the bitch. Kill her. Ino couldn't believe what she was hearing. They were going to punish her for self-defense. They began to move in on her. There's too many. There was only one thing she could do. She had to run as far and fast as possible. It wasn't enough. They caught her. Leave me alone. She shouted as she trembled. I'm warning you. You all hear that? She's warning us. The entire crowd began to laugh. It wasn't a happy laugh, it promised pain. One of the villagers threw another rock at her. It started. The villagers began to beat her. They used whatever they could, be it their very hand or sticks they found on the ground. They cut her flesh with jagged and rusted objects. They burned her with fire jutsus. As they damaged her mind with cruelty and her body with pain, she had only one thought. The thought Naruto had many times in the past. Why? Why are they doing this? Why won't they let me die? She knew the answer. It would have been too easy. They wanted to get out all of their hate. But why? Daddy, she cried. Where are you, Daddy? He didn't show. No one did. What are you doing? A distant voice asked. Finish her now. No, not like this. She thought desperately looking for an escape. She found one. Better yet, she found several. They were in the form of her attackers. Mind transfer jutsu. Using her family's technique, she started her escape. She took control of one of her assailants, a shinobi. Once she was in control, she made for her helpless body. Grabbing it, she ran for the only safe place she knew. Home. Ino released the jutsu as soon as the mob stopped giving chase. She didn't have the chakra to go any further. She limped home. Finally, she thought as she saw the clan. Ino limped toward the entrance to her home. Before she could get to the door they opened, she saw the comforting figure of her father. "Daddy," she cried in joy. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice full of venom. Daddy," she asked in shock. Her daddy had never taken a tone like that with her, even when she insulted the customers. "You are no child of mine," he hissed. "Now get out of here." But I said leave," he snapped as he drew a kunai. "Or should I finish what the villagers started?" Ino couldn't believe it, even her own father turned on her. The feeling he was giving off wasn't something she was used to. It wasn't the comforting figure of a parent. This was something both shinobi and civilian alike were capable of. Hate. She did all she could. She ran. Maybe she could find someone who wouldn't hate her. There has to be someone, she thought to herself. Right. Sakura. Sakura too had walked through a light that freed her from the darkness. Now she was in front of the school as well. Sakura. Her heart skipped a beat at the sound of the voice. "Sasuke-kun," she cheered, "you made it from the Baka's genjutsu." "Of course," Sasuke stated smugly, "the dobi's skill is nowhere equal to mine." "This is my chance," Sakura thought. There was no one around, no senseis, no competition, no anyone. "Sasuke-kun," she called, "would you like to go on a date with me?" Sasuke stared at her for what felt like an eternity. He's going to say no, she wailed in her mind. "Sure," he answered before walking away. Did he just? He agreed. She asked herself. He agreed. There was only one thing she could do now. "Mom," she shouted as she ran home, "I need a new dress for my date with Sasuke-kun." Date. Sasuke had taken Sakura to the most expensive restaurant in the village. Everyone stared at her with complete respect or envy. It was as she had always imagined it. They had been very little talk between the two. Sakura was fine with that. They had a comfortable silence. Now the Uchiha was walking her home. "Sasuke-kun is walking me home," she mentally cheered. "I had a wonderful evening, Sasuke-kun." Sakura spoke as they arrived to her house. "Sakura, would you like to go out again?" he asked nervously. "He's nervous about asking me out. That must mean he likes me." "Yes," she enthusiastically agreed. Time passed. Sakura and Sasuke grew closer as they grew older. Her time with him was better than she could have ever imagined. She even got him to open his heart about his family. "I'm so sorry, Sasuke-kun," she cried alongside him. "It's not your problem, Sakura-chan." Her heart skipped a beat. "Thanks for listening. Sasuke-kun, yes," he ushered her. "I want to help you," she stated weakly before adding strength to her words. "I want to help you reach your goal." "Thank you," he whispered, "but I could never ask you to face Itachi." "I didn't mean that part," she stated with a slight purr. "I want to help you revive your clan." "I will not bear an Uchiha child out of wedlock," he stated with strong conviction. I'm sorry," she whimpered, thanking he was angry. "Sakura, will you marry?" "Yes." Then and there it happened. The Uchiha showed the Haruno a night of passion and pleasure she never thought possible. Time passed. "Push, Sakura," the doctors ordered, "just a bit more." "Just what do you think I'm doing?" It seemed childbirth increased her already large lungs. "Wah wah," two new and innocent voices cried. "Congratulations, Mrs. Uchiha." The doctor spoke. "You given birth to a healthy pair of babies." "My babies, let me see my babies," Sakura weakly ordered. The doctors handed her the children, both boys. She looked at them with her eyes filled with love only a mother could possess. Time passed. Sakura was happy. "Mommy, look what daddy taught me," her eldest of the twins spoke. The boy went through the hand signs for a fire jutsu, a tradition for the Uchiha clan. It was a small flame, but made her swell up with pride. Everything okay, Sakura? Sasuke asked as he noticed the tears in her eyes. She looked at him. She finally had everything she ever wanted. The man of her dreams. 2 gifted children she loved with all her heart. Wealth, fame and finally, respect. Everything's perfect, she answered honestly. Then I guess it's time I stepped in. A voice spoke, making her freeze up. The Uchiha family looked to the one who spoke. There stood one of the people the Uchihas hated most, Naruto. Dobi. The younger Uchiha growled. What are you doing here? What Naruto said froze Sakura to the core. I came to help history repeat itself. And no, stay away from my family. Sakura shouted. Stay away from my babies. Sasuke ran toward the duo, fully charged Chidori ready. Dobi, he shouted. Today, I will finally crush you. Sakura never understood what happened. 1 minute Sasuke was going to beat Naruto, then he was just gone. He literally faded out of sight. Sasuke-kun. Daddy. Naruto began to walk to them, slowly and purposely. The 2 young Uchiha twins ran toward Naruto, blinded with rage. As they got closer, Sakura noticed something horrible. Each step Naruto took destroyed everything around him. The plants withered away and the ground broke away under him. The Uchiha children didn't stand a chance, they were now held high by their throats. They were at Naruto's mercy. And behold, I shall be a blight upon the land, he spoke softly, and everything I touch shall wither and die. As he spoke, she saw the worst sight she could imagine. Their skin became pale as their bodies became shrunken and frail. Their skins broke away, revealing the bones chipping away underneath. Her children weren't just dying, her babies were withering away. And she could do nothing about it. When he was done, there was only 2 piles of dust. They blew away in the wind, forever scattered and away from her. She looked up at Naruto. Please, she begged, kill me. He merely walked away. The ground, even reality gave away. All that was left was her, floating on a small rock in oblivion. Everything she ever wanted or needed was given to her. Her heart's desire was taken away. Now she was truly alone, all that was left was her and a true black abyss. She wanted to jump and put an end to it all. Something told her it was pointless, that she would fall forever. Never hitting the bottom, never to enjoy death's sweet embrace. Never to join her family. Sasuke, where are you, Dobi? Sasuke called into the darkness. I'm here to challenge you, just like you did with Itachi. You challenge me, huh? Naruto asked, appearing from the shadows. In what? I challenge you to a one-on-one. A regular match, fine. Naruto agreed. You challenge me, so it's your move. I am an Uchiha, the elite. Sasuke spoke arrogantly. What do you hope to do against me? The same as everyone else. Naruto answered. Break you. Sasuke made the first move. The Uchiha ran forward and started forming hand signs. Fire style. Fire Phoenix Jutsu. A barrage of small fireballs made their way toward Naruto. Invert. What? Now they were making their way back toward Sasuke. The young Uchiha raised his hands to block the attack. It never came, at least not by fire. It came by cold steel. It started off as numbness that grew into a stinging sensation. It continued to build, forcing the Uchiha to open his eyes. He looked to his arms and saw a thin red line, exactly where the pain was. As the Uchiha tried to flex his hands, he noticed they didn't respond. They were numb, as if they weren't his. Then they fell. It took Sasuke a moment for him to realize what had just happened. His arms had just fallen off. It took even less time for the pain to kick in. The Uchiha fell to his knees in agony. Actually, it would be better to say he fell off his knees in agony. They too had been severed. Now Sasuke was nothing more than a torso. An angry, Sharingan-wielding torso. Well now, Naruto began. Where have I seen this? Oh yeah, with Neji Hyuga. Naruto stood in front of the limbless Sasuke. The Uchiha tried to attack Naruto. All he managed to do was thrash around in agony, spilling his blood. After a pointless moment, he began to slow down. He was getting dizzy and tired, so tired he thought. It was all because of his thrashing around. The movement forced more blood out of the body. Now Sasuke was near unconsciousness as well as death. Well, Sasuke asked weakly, aren't you going to kill me? Naruto didn't answer, he just raised his elemental sword high into the air. I'll finally rejoin my clan. Sasuke thought with a slight bit of peace. Before shouting out in unholy pain, Sasuke looked to the sword Naruto had burning into his arm. He's cauterizing the wound, Sasuke realized. When Naruto finished the first arm he moved to the next, then the legs. Naruto wasn't killing him, he was preventing the Uchiha's death. Why don't YYUJ just kill me? Sasuke asked in pain and anger. You don't fear death, you welcome it. Naruto answered, your punishment must be more severe. Torture? Sasuke asked as fear built. Yes, Naruto answered, but not of the body. It will be of the soul. Sasuke looked at Naruto. For a moment he thought he would finally see his family, his parents. Then Naruto took it away from him. No, I will not be denied. Sasuke thought angrily. The young Uchiha opened his mouth and slammed it shut with all the force he could muster. His teeth tore through his tongue as if it were a marshmallow. He gave Naruto a smirk as his consciousness faded. It was met with a smirk from the blonde. Naruto shoved his elemental sword into Sasuke's mouth. Hard enough to force its way in, but soft enough to stop on the wounded tongue. A true contradiction. His mouth was met with the same situation as his limbs. Did you think I'd let you go that easily? Naruto asked. No, you don't get to go yet. Naruto stated in a matter-of-fact tone. When your dreams are in ashes, then you have my permission to die. What does he mean by that? Sasuke asked himself. Earlier this week I was met with an intruder in my home. Naruto stated. Not uncommon, a lot of people want me dead. Sasuke agreed with that. The funny part was who it was. Naruto turned his head to the darkness and called. Bring him in. In popped several Naruto clones carrying a struggling figure. The sight filled Sasuke with horror and fear. It was a beaten and bloody Itachi Uchiha. The elder Uchiha looked as if he were about to collapse from either exhaustion or pain, maybe both. The clones forced Itachi to his knees in front of the two. The elder Uchiha locked eyes with the younger one. Hello Sasuke-kun, Itachi rasped. I bet why you're enjoying the sight. The honest truth, he wasn't. It was supposed to be him that brought Itachi to his knees. Not Naruto. Say your farewells, Naruto ordered. He raised his kusanagi high and brought it down on Itachi's neck. But not before he could utter. I'll tell mom and dad you said hi. The only sound was the thud of a head hitting the ground. Wait a sec, Naruto exclaimed. Didn't you have a second dream? He looked as if he were deep in thought before snapping his fingers. That's right, you also wanted to revive your clan. Now Sasuke was feeling despair. Naruto raised his kusanagi blade and took aim at the Uchiha family jewels. It happened in a flash, the blade extended and retracted. It had severed the Uchihas, yeah. Now we add fire to stop the bleeding. Naruto actually sung as he did just that, and sing of the mental help you'll be needing. Naruto walked away, but not before leaving Sasuke with a gift. He lifted Sasuke upright so the Uchiha could see. The area became a cemetery. Not just any cemetery, it was one Sasuke visited often. It was the Uchiha cemetery. His parents' grave stood before him. Mom, Dad, he thought bitterly, I'm sorry that I couldn't. He couldn't bring himself to finish. He could only sit there, not even having enough will to cry. Kakashi was tired of dark tunnels. He knew Naruto had something planned for him, but he was ready. He truly felt Naruto couldn't do anything worse than before. Oh, how wrong he was. Kakashi-kun, a weak feminine voice called. Why didn't you save me? Kakashi felt his heart snap. Rin. He asked. No, this is just genjutsu. You didn't watch after your comrade, an older silver-headed man stated in disappointment. Has my life truly been in vain that my own son is a disappointment? Father. Kakashi couldn't believe his ears. I'm just as much to blame. Another voice spoke. It seems my lessons didn't sink into that skull of yours. Sensei. Don't call me that. Minato snapped. If you can't follow my lessons then I can't be your teacher. He gave the younger Junin a sneer. Look at you, playing favorites. Did I ever play favorites with your team? No, but you what? Rin weakly asked. I owes a debt to Obito, Kakashi weakly finished, so I. No, a new voice spoke. A new figure limped and joined the argument. His entire right side looked as if it had been crushed. The left eye was sending a truly hateful glare. It was Obito Uchiha. I gave you that eye to protect Rin, Obito stated. What do? You let her die. He shouted. Then you go get lazy and become an awful teacher. You taught your team nothing. I trained you better than that, Minato stated. I've used this eye to protect this village and many of my comrades. Kakashi tried to reason. Naruto appeared from the shadows. But you couldn't protect a child, he asked. Could you, Inu-san? We can forgive not protecting me, Rin stated. We are shinobi and our lives are in constant threat. We can forgive you being a horrible teacher, Minato continued. Not everyone is suited for it. We can't forgive you, Obito started, for becoming a hypocrite. As one they spoke, those who abandon the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are less than trash. They're scum, Naruto spat. I think it's time I take back what's mine, Obito whispered. The Uchiha limped forward, arm extended. Kakashi had nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. His sensei would just find him. He could only scream as the fingers dug into his eye socket and yanked. Iruka knew that he was in more trouble than ever. Whatever Naruto had planned would make his next punishment look tame. If that's possible, and he feared it was. Hello Iruka, how are you feeling? Naruto asked in a low voice. I'm doing fine, Naruto, Iruka answered nervously. We'll have to fix that, Naruto stated. Iruka had clamps form around his wrist and ankles. They spread themselves out and latched onto the wall behind him. The whole darkness faded. It became a dark and murky room. The doctor is in. Naruto made his way toward Iruka, kunai drawn. He cut away at the Chunin's jacket and shirt, exposing his chest. Naruto proceeded to a circle about an inch into his flesh around Iruka's chest with the kunai's tip. He then turned the blade to its side and carved the circular flesh. He repeated the process 2 more times at random points on Iruka's chest. He let out a hollow laugh as Iruka's cried. Naruto grabbed his kusanagi blade and raised it high. He brought it down repeatedly on one of Iruka's legs, cutting only halfway through with each strike. Once he had finished, he moved to the other leg. Naruto then drew his elemental blade. He heated up 2 kunai with concentrated raw fire chakra. He slowly drove them through Iruka's hands, going inch by inch. When it had finally made its way through, he stopped with the fire chakra. He tied a thin piece of ninja wire from both ends of the kunai to his elemental sword. He began to pump them full with lighting chakra. Iruka couldn't describe the pain he felt. Every cell in his body was literally being electrocuted. He wasn't even given the chance to black out. Naruto drew another kunai and made a deep incision from Iruka's chest to his stomach. He dug both hands in before ripping Iruka's chest cavity open. He could only howl in pain as Naruto continued to laugh. Why are you doing this? He asked through his tears. Let me tell you something. Naruto began joyfully. I'm not completely with it. He removed the liver. I'm on the crazy train and there's no station in sight. He squeezed a kidney until it was goo in his hand. When I was born, I was beaten with the mental stick. He cut the spleen with a kunai. I'm a thread loose of a tapestry. He yanked on the small intestines. I'm 1 cupcake short of a bakery. You're insane, Iruka shouted. Bingo, Naruto agreed. The blonde brought a kunai down into Iruka's heart. The citizens on Konoha couldn't believe the brutality they were seeing. Many were emptying their stomachs onto the ground as they viewed the horrors. Hokage-sama, you have to stop him. No, I don't, Tsunade stated. As long as they're alive and can function, no rule has been broken. They watched as Iruka was put together and brought back to life. Only for the torture to continue. Death would have been a blessing. Hayate, Hayate, oh Hayate, Naruto called. Come out, wherever you are. Hayate had used the only genjutsu he knew. It was a camouflage type. Now he was hidden in the darkness. Or so he thought. Naruto was a senior nin. He knew the exact spot Hayate was trying to hide. Above, he just decided to humor the Junin with false hope. It made the fear all the sweeter. Naruto felt the chakra shift and knew Hayate was going to attack. The Chunin raised his kusanagi sword as Hayate fell from the ceiling. The tip of their swords met and balanced the Junin. With a surge of chakra, they were separated. I'm going to kill you, cough. Hayate screamed. Come, Naruto ordered. Hayate focused as much chakra into his own sword before charging Naruto. The amount he had shined over the blade. Naruto met it head-on with the Kusanagi blade. They were in a power struggle until Naruto drew his second sword. Hayate drew back with caution. Coward, Hayate spoke. You cough can't face me in cough a kenjutsu match. This caught Naruto by surprise. A single kenjutsu match. The blonde murmured, fine, but on my terms. Cough, I'm listening. Hayate spoke. No kenjutsu-related jutsu. Naruto began. No chakra, no anything other than skill. Deal. Hayate readily agreed. He believed that with his skills and experience, that he had the upper hand. Naruto charged forward, both blades drawn. Hayate stabbed his sword forward intent on impaling Naruto. Naruto jumped over the blade and swung at Hayate's head. The Junin quickly stepped back and blocked with his sword. The weight in these blows are ridiculous. Hayate thought. He quickly pushed Naruto off and back a few feet. I need time to think. Hayate panicked. I can't keep this up without chakra. Naruto ran forward again, his own blade intent on impaling. Hayate jumped to the side and attempted to sever Naruto's arms. The blonde simply continued forward, avoiding the blow, giving Hayate a clear view of his back. The Junin drew a few kunai with explosive tags from his pouch. He threw them toward Naruto and they were right on target. They would have hit had Naruto not spun around with a gust of lighting. It sent the charged metals back at the Junin. They landed at his feet and he almost laughed. He would have laughed if the explosive notes hadn't gone off. He was just lucky they were low-powered. He might have lost a limb. For now he was just stunned, unable to move. With Naruto around, he wished the explosion had killed him. You just couldn't do it. Naruto chastised. You couldn't meet me on even ground. Naruto watched as Hayate picked himself up, barely. The Junin felt an invisible force push him against the dark wall. His own sword began to float in front of him. The blade flew toward the Junin with great speed. It was thanks to years of experience that his body acted, grabbing the blade between his hands. Impressive, Naruto admitted. The invisible force returned against the blade. Again, and again, and again, it pushed against the butt of the sword, forcing it through Hayate's stomach. Hayate tried to resist but the blows grew stronger each time. Naruto finally stopped when it was halfway through. Naruto walked up to talk. Well, Hayate didn't let him finish. He grabbed the blonde in one hand, holding tight. With the other, he removed the sword and put it to Naruto's neck. Ooh, scary, Naruto mocked. Hayate tried to force the blade through Naruto's neck. He would have succeeded if Naruto hadn't scattered in a mass of black petals. The black petals reformed and became a mass of shurikens. They rained down mercilessly onto the Junin. When they stopped, he could only glare at Naruto. Go ahead, he growled. Kill cough me. No, Naruto spoke. Your disease is doing that for me. Cough cough cough. He couldn't continue. Hayate was hit with a coughing fit. It was worse than any he'd ever had before. Soon he fell to his knees coughing up blood. His body fell over, paralyzed from the disease. It hurts, doesn't it? Naruto asked, though he already knew. To know that a disease will be the cause of your death. Not a shinobi way to go, like poison. The look in Hayate's eyes said so many hateful things. All he could manage was, cough 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 cough. He barely noticed Naruto place a red vial on the ground, barely. He gave the blonde a questioning glare. This is full of my blood. Naruto stated, if you drink this, your disease will be cured. Hayate couldn't believe his ears. A chance of relief, he thought with hope. You can have it, but there was a catch. If you can get it, Naruto spoke, it'll only be there for 3 minutes. He stepped away from the vial. That he placed 10 feet away. That's not fair. Hayate couldn't move. His cure was right there. But he couldn't reach it. It might as well have been a mile away, hidden in enemy territory. So close, Naruto whispered, yet so far. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left. Asuma knew he was in trouble. He had opened his mouth one time too many. He knew Naruto was waiting, saving him for last. So he needed to go on the offensive. And he did. Let's see if Kurenai's lectures were worth anything. He thought dryly. Kai. He released a burst of chakra that dispelled the darkness genjutsu. Only to show more darkness. Double layered. And a surprised Naruto. Asuma-san. Naruto stated in actual surprise, how did you? My girlfriend is the mistress of genjutsu. Asuma stated as he lit another cigarette. You think she'd let me go if I couldn't even release a genjutsu? True. Naruto agreed. Now, Asuma began mockingly. Why don't you be a good chunin and let me out of here? Excuse me, I am a shinobi. Naruto began. I am the fuck-mothering boogeyman. He grinned. I am fear. He laughed. I have broken a lot of minds to get this title, I deserve to be caused such. And I am one of the 12 guardian ninja. He scoffed. You don't hear me bragging. Quote. But I could. Quote. 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 Aren't you? Dodge. That's exactly what Asuma did, barely. Naruto had swung his inflamed elemental blade at Asuma's head. Had the Junin been any slower, he'd be a real hot head. Naruto didn't stop there. He swung and released wave after wave. Asuma continued to dance like a monkey. But he wasn't a Junin for dancing around attacks. With each step Asuma took to avoid a blow, he got closer. Soon Naruto would be in range for a counterattack. Now, the Junin thought. He ran forward, trench knives drawn and ready for action. Naruto saw this and ran forward to meet the challenge. The two shinobi jumped forward and met in air. Their weapons struck and landed back to back. Only both of Naruto's arms were on the ground. He didn't even try to evade. Asuma thought, was he really that cocky? You shouldn't have messed with a Junin. Asuma spoke. You'll only. He got no further. Naruto had turned and delivered a devastating kick to Asuma's sides. It had enough force to knock him onto his back. Asuma watched in awe and horror as Naruto's arms grew back. You forgot something important, fool. Naruto chastised. This is all a genjutsu. Well then, Asuma spoke as he took another puff. I'll just have to break through. He gained a cocky smile. Give me your worst. Let's see who Kurenai taught better, me or you. Then feed on your own despair. Naruto whispered. The area turned red. No, Asuma thought. The darkness was bleeding. He realized. How the hell does emptiness bleed? The blood began to move around and take form. It was the form of a fox's upper body, then a second. Asuma didn't know what was happening. He knew what he was seeing was genjutsu, that's all it could be. What he didn't know was Naruto was pouring concentrated fear directly at him. He wanted my worst, Naruto thought grimly. Well, here it is. Asuma could do only one thing. He ran. He forgot one thing. He was in Naruto's genjutsu. There was nowhere he could go or hide that Naruto couldn't get him. How long have I been running? He asked himself. He didn't know, but he could stop. Not now, not ever. As he ran, he looked over his shoulder and saw the foxes behind him. Always behind him, always chasing. Wait, what's that? He asked himself with a sliver of hope. It was a light, a chance. No, Naruto spoke from behind. Asuma felt chakra pass through his leg. He was familiar with this chakra, it was the one he used. It was wind chakra. His leg had been severed. He couldn't go any further. Asuma turned to see Naruto standing in between the two foxes. Why you? What have you done? Asuma shouted. What have you done different than anyone of us? Bitch, I eat people. Naruto yelled. What? Devour. Naruto ordered. The foxes fell onto Asuma. They tugged at his 3 remaining limbs, tearing them off. They ate like starved animals, and they continued to eat. They tore his stomach open and let his innards fall out. They nibbled, savoring each and every bite they could. One snapped at his neck, tearing out his throat in the process. With a second snap, his head was disconnected from his body. Asuma was conscious of every piece being taken away. He felt the pain he never thought possible. Naruto wouldn't let death come easily. When the blood foxes finished, not even bone remained. How was he? Naruto asked the creatures. He tasted like a monkey. One stated, gagging. A monkey that's past its prime. The second stated. Hokage-sama. Yugao cried. You can't let this continue. He still has plenty of time left, Tsunade calmly spoke. But, he needs to be stopped. You all can't join the fray, Tsunade stated as she held up the documents. None of you signed the contract. This was their chance to stop the madness and torture. All they had to do was sign and face Naruto's wrath. I don't know, Anko stated. I'd like to keep the little sanity I have. The giant genjutsu screen drew their attention. Naruto, what are you doing with that badger? It's not a badger, it's a honey badger. Naruto corrected. You mean the one that? Naruto cut him off. Yeah, Naruto grinned. The one that doesn't give a shit. Well people, Naruto spoke. How was it? It was horrible, Iruka whimpered. You survived my hatred with your minds intact. Naruto congratulated, but I have some bad news. What? Kakashi asked. You're going back. But it's over, Ino shouted. No, it's not. Naruto spoke. I'm nowhere near done. He can't do that, Hokage-sama. Hana shouted. Actually he can, Kyuubi countered. He's only used up a few minutes. What? Impossible, Anko shouted. We've been altering time from both sides, Chiyuya stated, motioning to Kyuubi. He speeds it up time for them but we slowed it down for you. In all honesty, he used up about 15 minutes. The torture continued, for everyone. The fools who signed the contract only wanted death. Every torture Naruto did only got worse and worse. The villagers couldn't look away. They were stuck too far in awe and horror. It was like an accident that won. The mistresses watched, powerless to defend their boyfriends and brother. The only ones not suffering were the Heims. They just pretty much sat back and watched. I can't take this anymore, Anko shouted. Give me that stupid paper, I'm signing. Same as us, the mistresses spoke. I've already told you it's too late. I need a drink. Tsunade thought, clearly annoyed. Unless Naru-kun accepts, there's no way in. I have a plan, Yugao spoke. They huddled into a circle and listened. Are you sure it will work? It did for everyone else. We have little choice. Agreed. Hokage-sama, we want to sign. Before she could be cut off, she continued, we know how to get him to allow us. Fine. They signed, one by one. Anko, Hana, Kurenai, Yugao. It was done. Kurenai stepped forward. Naruto Uzumaki, she shouted with a genjutsu amplified voice. It gained his attention. We have signed the contract. Hana spoke with the aid of the genjutsu. We each challenge you. We the mistresses of Konoha challenge you. They continued. Pure skill against skill. Senseis versus student. Do you accept? They asked. When he didn't reply they continued. Are you afraid of us, Naruto? The doors swung open. Naruto had accepted their challenge. I am fear, Naruto's voice stated, and fear fears nothing. They walked in. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video be sure to like, comment and subscribe as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.